As I mentioned, everything will be sent in a recap to you. I will be sharing my screen in just a moment. We're going to start with a couple of slides. So let's go ahead and share my screen here and look at, all right, YouTube part 1. So in this session, as I said, we're going to talk about the real just fundamentals of setting up the channel and what needs to be there in regards to your grand marketing. And I just realized I didn't change the date on that slide, so sorry about that. But I digress. What we want to do is figure out what this is going to be for you. And then in the second session that happens on Wednesday, we'll actually upload something into the YouTube studio and talk in greater detail about what the YouTube studio is and the kind of function you get inside of it. And, again, what that means for a larger part of your marketing that is done here. So just a few quick stats about YouTube in 2020. YouTube has 2 billion with a B logged in monthly users. What does that mean? That means 2 billion individuals are using YouTube on either a mobile device or a computer at least once a month. That is an insane amount of usage. And what we want to do, and just to give you some context on how they've been growing, this time 2 years ago, they were averaging 1.8 billion users per month. So they've been able to grow 200 million users over the course of 2 years, which is really, really good. And in the grand scheme of what that means for you and your business is that you want to talk about, just like a Facebook or an Instagram channel where you're doing advertising both about your brand and the environment in which you work in, along with a bit of that curated personality. YouTube is a space where you want to do that and leverage the same kind of algorithmic systems that exist in YouTube that are relatable to what's going on Instagram or Facebook. Meaning, leveraging things on Instagram, like using hashtags, being timely about certain posts, and then, being consistent about the messaging that is going on. That is important because it feeds, like I said, the algorithm that pushes content to consumers. YouTube, where I'm going with all of this, is that 70%, like it says up here, of people on YouTube watch something that the algorithm recommends them. What does that mean in layman's? It means that almost 3 out of every 4 people will watch an additional video on YouTube purely because it is in that recommend bar next to the video that they're currently watching. If you guys, when we get onto the channel, you'll get a good visual of what that is. But all that really means is you want to be as consistent and as thoughtful with the marketing happening here as you are with stuff that's happening on Facebook and Instagram. And again, this is just something cool that I pulled from the Pew Research website, the Pew Research Center. This talks about social media and the percentage of adults who have used the platform or a messaging app on their cell phone or online. And as you can see, YouTube, again, a big number, 3 out of 4 people, adults, will use this platform at any given point from either their computer or their cell phone. So there's a ton of the world on it, and it should be very much the same part of your marketing the way Facebook and something like Instagram is. Now, some of these numbers obviously have changed during the COVID era because obviously there's a ton more people staying at home and living on their devices right now. Something like TikTok is a new player in the sphere, but they're somewhere around the Reddit number base right now. Something like Instagram has moved a bit higher, and Facebook is still about where it is. Something like Snapchat and LinkedIn have also climbed a little bit as people have been revisiting their resumes and things like that. But the important thing that I just want to drive home is this is something that everybody is on, and there's a ton of great ways to not only advertise the listings that you have, but the business and where you operate in to consistently attract new people to your brand and what you do. So let's go ahead and talk about YouTube. So if and hopefully if this is working properly, you guys no longer see PowerPoint and we're looking at youtube.com. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I am not signed in at the moment because we're going to talk about the accounts in just a sec. But what we're looking at here is just the consumer layout before you sign into account, just so I can talk about a little of the platform itself. We've got recommended videos, again, things being pushed by the algorithm. If you are not signed in like I am, it's using what are called cookies from the website and your online history to push things to you. If you are signed in, it is leveraging your individual account to then recommend stuff for you based on what you watch. You will always see these top three, whether you're signed in or not: home, trending, and subscriptions. Home, obviously, is the home page for YouTube, but that is different for every individual user because, I mean, the layout is the same, but the videos that they'll see depend on their usage. Trending is the same across the entire platform. This, again, just for knowledge purposes, this is where all of the most popular videos at any given point in the day are going to be for YouTube. You will see them trending. Subscriptions are purely based on you, the individual. What channels do you subscribe to? You will see them listed here. Your library is going to be videos that you upload, and then the best of YouTube splits down here. All of the rest of this stuff, I'm just going to glaze over. It's different subsections of YouTube, and then some settings for YouTube Premium and things like that. We don't really need to cover any of that. Let's talk about the accounts themselves. Now, anybody with a Gmail account has a YouTube account. Google owns YouTube, and that Gmail account is what gives you access to your YouTube channel. But there are two different kinds of Gmail accounts. And I'm going to hit sign in so we can look at those. The ones we're concerned with in regards to managing a YouTube channel for your business are going to be called brand accounts. Now, I want to stress that the only difference between a standard user account and a brand account is management of the YouTube page. So, for example, my account that I run my YouTube channel with for Coldwell Banker is just a standard account. I didn't create a brand account, so I cannot change the name of the channel. It is just Anuj Chaudhary, and I can't delegate access to the channel to anybody else. If you are, in the grand scheme of things, it behooves everybody to set up their channel under a brand account. Now, if you already have a channel under a personal account, you can transition ownership of that channel to a brand account. And I will include instructions on how to do that in the recap. It's fairly simple. It's all done in the settings. And again, what the brand account will allow you to do, if I go ahead and let's go use another account, and I'm going to go create an account right here. Instead of for yourself, you're creating an account to manage your business. Now, when you create a brand account, that YouTube channel you get created will initially be called, in my case, Anuj Chaudhary, but I can change the name of that channel if I wanted it to, let's say, be CB Coldwell Banker classes for agents. That could be the name of my YouTube channel. Or if you're a real estate agent, if I'm a real estate, I could make it, Monterey Coast Realty or Santa Cruz Coast Realty, real estate, or whatever I wanted to call it, whatever my brand is, right? This is the bigger part of the conversation of what is your brand in business. Have you established all of that yet? We've made huge efforts, and by we, I mean Coldwell Banker and the company as a large, to help agents figure that out. People like me, your field marketing specialist, your SSAs, we have an entire design studio devoted to helping agents discover what their individual brand is in this marketplace. This is a part of that larger conversation. So if you're, for example, Anuj Realty, then I will create my brand account, and then your email doesn't necessarily matter because it never has to be client facing. meaning the Gmail account you are using to manage the branded YouTube page never has to be interacted with by any of your consumers. The only things that'll happen are emails will get sent to there whenever YouTube sends you a notification, or if there's an update, or if there are comments or things like that are happening. And you can always forward those Gmail emails into whatever email you were using. So that's how you can get around that specific little issue there. But I digress. What we want to do here is just create an email, you create a password and account, and then you can confirm. I already have a channel. I'm not going to create a new account. But what you can do, like I said, it allows you to change the name of your YouTube channel to fit your brand. And also, it allows you to delegate access to that channel to other users. What does that mean? It means, let's say I'm part of a team, or I'm doing a co-list with another agent, or I have a marketer as a part of my team, and I want them to have access to the YouTube channel. Instead of giving them my Gmail and password every time to get in and out of this account, I can delegate access and give them their own channel to be able to, or sorry, their own email access so they can log in with their Gmail and then see your team's channel or your brand's channel here. When you're logged in, as you can see, you'll be signed in. You can manage your Google account. This is where things like your headshot, your business information, your phone number, your address, all of that stuff needs to be filled out. You would fill this out after you've created your business account if you're creating a new one. If for some reason it skips over that, log into it by going from your YouTube and going to manage your Google account, or from your Gmail or wherever you happen to be. There's always a spot to manage the account. This is where you can edit all of that kind of information. Not real super important to this class, so I'm just going to gloss over that, and we'll go over some of the rest of the stuff here. What we're going to first do is let's look at my channel from a consumer. So whenever you hit that button, your channel, you will always look at it from the consumer's point of view. The only thing the consumer can't see are these two buttons, Customize Channel and YouTube Studio. Otherwise, this is exactly what users like you see whenever you hit my YouTube channel. And let's go over what should be shown here. What we are looking at is first off, the banner image at the top. Branding, again, I rambled on about that a lot a few minutes ago. If you've got a logo, a branded image, some kind of thing that associates to your business, this is where it needs to be, and it needs to be featured. For example, if we look, I've got some hot links down here. If I click on website, it will take me to my website where you see that same image. There's a level of consistency between the branding. The image is just as easy to upload as clicking on that little uploader that you'll see. I'm going to do that one more time, that little camera. When you are logged into your account, you'll be able to drag a photo or select one. And what I want to talk about real quick is when you pick a photo, you always want to make sure that it is designed to fit within this system. Again, I'll include all of this in the recap, but as you can see, this image looks different based on how my user is visiting the channel. If they're looking at it on the desktop like we are, that is what we see. If you're looking at it on a TV, you get a much more blown out, you get the full image that I had taken. And if you're looking at it on mobile, it's even more condensed and focused to a specific area. Now you can adjust that crop by clicking here, and you get to see a bit of what those previews are. But you want to be conscious of the fact that your brand needs to be kind of right in the middle here. So it shows up on all three platforms and is prominently featured across them. You want to make sure, much like the website, all of the channels that you manage are hyperlinked right here. All of your marketing should be cyclical. If you've taken any of my other classes, you hear me talk about that. Everything should have a call to action built into it to constantly drive people to other channels. This is a bigger thing that we'll talk about in session 2, but just to kind of give an idea of what I mean is, let's say this specific video happens to be about the the community, and I shoot a little minute-long video talking about some of the, at least in Monterey County where I live, we're going to what's called shelter in place 2B or 2.5, meaning certain businesses are going to open back up with a outdoor dining, certain shopping areas will open back up, etc. I can break that down for my consumers, give a few highlights of some of my favorite places to visit, link to them in the description, and remind everybody that if you go to my website, there's a full list made available that you can access and cycle through county by county. Now, obviously, you have to put that information there, but that is how you create and leverage this as a bigger part of a marketing strategy. And, that's just a real macro 30,000 foot view at a brief strategy that you can incorporate. But that's the kind of thinking you want to have, right? We use this just like you do Instagram or Facebook to feature tidbits, to highlight stuff, or like your email to send stuff out to clients that we can then use to drive back to your main hub of your business, which is your website, which not only has all of the stuff you have about the community and about you there, but all of your business as well, your sales, your history, and any new listings that you have going on, or any office listings that are featured, just in case someone's interested in buying and you can help show them around. Enough about that. Let's talk about the rest of this. Obviously, channel name will be right here. Subscriber count is underneath that. I don't have a brand account. Can't change that channel name, but you can have your headshot. Make sure your headshot is featured here because your logo should be right here. Now, the channel layout, I'll go over editing this in just a sec, but what you can do is you can have a featured video right here, and there's two different types of featured videos. You have one for people returning as a subscriber, and then you can have what's called an intro video that you only use for people that are hitting the channel for the first time, or that are unsubscribed, meaning they're not one of my 36 that follow me. And we'll put a pin in that. I'll get into it more detail in a little bit later, but basically what you think about here is how can I make this as easy for my consumers as possible? In my case, my consumers are Coldwell Banker agents. So I've got my most recent class uploaded right here. You've got access to all of the uploads that I have done for the channel right there. And I created a playlist that just has the videos pertaining to classes right here. You can create playlists, and you can see you can lay stuff out either horizontally or vertically like this. And it's much like using any website editor. There's pre-selected categories that you can choose from, and then you can add videos therein. There's not a whole ton of play to be had here. Again, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. All we need to do is make sure it is focused and easy for whatever your consumer is trying to get to. Do you have all of your TV commercials grouped easily for them? Do you have all of your listing tour videos easily grouped for them? Do you have all your community videos easily grouped for them? All of the marketing updates, etc. The next tab, videos, self-explanatory, shows you all the videos that you have uploaded to the channel that are public. Playlists you've created. Channels, these are channels that you feature. In a very small way, there is a sense of connectivity within this system, but not like you would think on a LinkedIn platform, for example, that uses that information to drive connections to you. What this really does is, on a real basic level, is help the system figure out if you're featuring, for example, I'm featuring one of the agents' channels and I'm featuring Coldwell Banker. That would let the system know that most of the content is going to be real estate focused. Discussion. This is a cool spot where you can add posts and communicate to people just like you would any other social media channel. This is great for, let's say, if you're holding an open house and a virtual tour this Friday on Facebook Live from 3 to 5 p.m. and you are promoting that. You can, obviously you'd have it posted on Facebook. You can shoot a little video to remind people to register it and have that sent to your Instagram. And then you can also make a post here with the link to register to the Facebook event itself. And again, cyclical marketing, making sure that everything's consistent across all boards, will drive people to whatever source we need to, because the goal here is regardless of what platform your consumer is using, they're able to get up-to-date information about you and what's going on. And last but not least, the About section. This is where we'll really start looking at the editing. What you can see here for business inquiries, right? View email. It is my business email. It doesn't have to be that Gmail I use to log in. Where I'm located, view stats, and your bio. Bio, I'm going to get on my little soapbox real quick. Super important. This is something that, again, should be featured consistently across all of your platforms and every profile that you can get it on, because it will help your SEO rank. Now, search engine optimization is a term for how organically you rank based on search terms that people are using. And things called web crawlers, for example, Google has a patented algorithm for its web crawler. So if you typed Santa Cruz real estate into Google, and I have in my bio, Santa Cruz real estate over and over and over again across tons of different platforms, that will help the web crawlers that are scanning all of these millions of pages over the internet find stuff to populate, which would hopefully be mine because of the consistency and the strategy I'm employing to climb those ranks. That is what we're thinking about doing here. The more stuff that appears consistently across multiple channels online, the more likely you are to be high on that list, along with your Coldwell Banker profile. That should be usually the one or two thing that pops up when you search your name, because of the size of Coldwell Banker and then the sheer SEO rankings that we have as a company. A great place to get bios and think about bios are in our design studio. We have a professional team that writes bios that you can purchase through there. They write them with things like SEO in mind, because they know that you'll be featuring these bios online. So again, that's just my high horse about bios. This is not something you should be ignoring. What we're going to do is we're going to hit customize channel. I'm going to start editing from right here. Just make sure how I'm doing on time. Awesome. As soon as I hit customize channel, you see everything kind of changed. We've got my description section, and you can see when I hover over it, it highlights gray, and that little pencil pops up on the right. Click on that pencil, and here's where you can type or paste your bio. When you're done, click on done, and it has saved. Same thing for the email, and same thing for the links. This works a lot like it does in InTouch. You can add as many links as you want, but the overlay, meaning this section right here, will feature 5 at max. And that is the first 5 that you put in here. And again, just to stress, only feature things that are a part of your marketing strategy that you are actively using. There is nothing more detrimental to a brand than someone finding a Facebook page that hasn't been updated since 2006. Once you're done, you hit done. Trashing will obviously delete something. This section right here is where you paste the link to whatever channel we are linking to. And this is where you can call it whatever it is. The reason you type in those things there is because A, it gives them a title right here and doesn't just show a house, the Instagram logo, and the LinkedIn logo, but it also shows, when you hover over it, Instagram, LinkedIn, website. Makes it easy for your consumer. Always think about, how can I make this easy for my consumer? Featured channels, you can remove the module entirely, or if you want to edit it, it's just as easy as pasting the URL for whatever channel you want to add, click on add, and hit done. Discussion. This is where you can edit, add, remove discussion posts. Channels. This will let you feature channels, see what channels you are featuring and see what subscriptions that you have. Playlists. This is where you can create new playlists as well as manage any of your playlists. Whoops, I clicked on it, which would view it. Sorry. If I click on this, it will take me into the back end where I can edit the name, I can add information about it, a description, I can sort the videos, and do whatever I need to for that specific playlist. Videos will allow me to share or see whatever I have uploaded to the channel. Now, what I said on the consumer side, you can see whatever's public. What that means is, as you can see, some of these videos have these little locks next to them. And as you can see, there are a few different, there are 3 different statuses for videos that you upload to YouTube. Public, which are viewable by anybody who accesses the platform. Unlisted, like this one, which are only viewable by people I share the link to the video with. So, for example, this went out as a part of an InTouch blast to all of my agents. Anybody who clicks on the video in that InTouch blast can see the video. It's the only way they can get to it. Or you can have what are called private videos, which are only viewable by the user or whoever has access to the channel. And now we're back at the home page. This is the last pit stop we're going to make today, because this is where we're going to talk about editing some of these settings. You can go into the channel settings if the channel is, needs to be killed a little bit, or if you wanted to, keep certain things private, you can edit those settings here. You can also go into account settings directly from here, and that will bring you to the section where you can manage everything that you share, again, from YouTube, as well as, if we go into advanced settings, you can delete the channel if need be, or move it to a brand account if it's currently not and you would like it to be. Going back home, again, we can see I can edit the video being featured on the channel. Clicking on this will allow me to, as you can see, I can delete that video, or I can click edit and choose a different video that I would like to feature. So I could click that one, I can hit save. If I wanted to add a heading, I could add a heading, but just like that, I can update for returning subscribers the video they see. Now, if someone isn't a subscriber and they're a new visitor, this is where I can add a channel trailer, something that talks about, and this is, again, part of your larger marketing strategy, something that talks about you, your brand, where you operate, the big aspect to how real estate agents are successfully marketing on social media is you advertise your business, a little bit about who you are and why you love the area you do and why you work in the area you do. So you can both advertise and let people, and more importantly, show people how your business is conducted, and a little bit about what it's like to work with you, and also a little bit about the pride you take in your area and why someone should relocate there or invest there. So there's tons of great stuff that you can do here. This is a great conversation to have with your marketing specialist about what you can do to advertise yourself in that space. Uploads, as you can see, are right here. I can move stuff up and down if I'd like. Clicking on edit for any of these things will show you how these sections are set up. Like I said, it's a little bit like any stock website editor. You can choose from any of these pre-created sections, like popular uploads, posted videos, live videos, past streams. You can have playlists featured, you can have subscriptions, whatever you would like from those pre-selected sections. You can have it featured horizontally, you can have it featured vertically. Again, whatever's best for your consumer. Shouldn't be too busy here. You can, if you want to add a new section, it works the same exact way. You can see what's here. And horizontal or vertical, you would hit done. But that's it, guys. That's setting up the channel. Now, between now and the next session on Wednesday, it would be great if you guys that don't have channels or that already have channels that maybe aren't in the currently being utilized as a part of the strategy, you can make some of these tweaks, start editing some of these facets, and in Part 2, we'll actually upload a video and talk about the YouTube Studio in more detail. I am going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen and open up the floor for questions. Feel free to unmute yourself if you would like to ask anything. I am also going to check in the chat and see if there's any listed there. I do not see any in the chat. Are there any questions I can answer for anybody? Hopefully I didn't go too fast, or I'm going to take the stunned silence of the crowd as everybody feels fairly confident about what we went over today. You guys will all get a recap from me. By all means, if you create your channel between now and session 2, feel free to send me the link to that channel and ask any questions. I will go over the privacy features in more detail in part 2 because we'll actually be uploading a video together in that session. Great question, Catherine, but that'll be just because I think part of the problem with the original way I was teaching the session, it was one hour class, and I've broken it into 2 sections to kind of allow you guys to digest this stuff a little bit more. And as I was saying, feel free to create your channel between now and Wednesday. Send it to me, and if you have any specific questions about the ideas of how it fits into the larger part of your marketing, reach out to me or your local FMS, and we'd be more than happy to go over that kind of stuff with you.
So I have one question for you.
Yes.
I was looking at I got my own page, a YouTube channel, and I'm not sure if it's branded or not. I haven't done a lot of it. I've done some videos, but for me to go and check and see how it looks to the consumer, is it settings I go to look and see if it's branded or not?
To see if you're in a brand, I can, what I'll do is let me share my screen again. I can show you what it would look like when you're logging in. And it would look pretty different from, because everything you saw on my end is what a standard account looks like. So when you log in, and I include these little screen caps in the recap, you'll see a section where you can either log into your personal channel or your branded channel. You'll be able to create the channel. You'll be able to edit the channel name as well. So if you don't see something like this on the back end where you can log into multiple spaces when you hit sign in to YouTube, then you're not under a brand channel. And to move it to one, if you create a brand account, is something I showed here. So you want to click on this YouTube settings. You guys can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay. You go into the YouTube settings, and you're going to click on the advanced settings right here. This option won't be an option if you're also on a brand account. Because what you'll do is I click on it, and I have to verify that it's me, and then it will allow me to log into the brand account I want to transfer ownership of the channel to. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that helps.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Hearing a lot of static. Don't know whose end that is.
Let me go ahead. All right, I muted everybody again, so feel free to unmute yourself right now if you have a question. There was just a little bit of, sounded like maybe a vacuum was on in the background. But again, I remuted everybody, so feel free to now unmute yourself or type it in the chat if you have any additional questions. I'll hang out here for a little bit more. And then, like I said, I will send a recap out with everything that we went over in part 1. And then you guys have until Wednesday before we go into uploading something into YouTube and going over the back end, which is called the YouTube Studio, in more detail. You're welcome, Catherine. I'm glad you found this helpful. I hope everybody indeed picks this up and runs with it. This, I think I want to stress, is something you, just like Instagram and Facebook, like with my agents, I always say that this is definitely something you should be having a little bit of fun with. It's marketing. It's a way to, if you don't enjoy it, My background is in entertainment and market research. I've worked on tons of different types of productions, and I can guarantee you, people subconsciously can read cues. It's part of how just humans work. If you don't enjoy the stuff, especially the videos you're making, it will come through to people, and it will hurt the overall representation of you and your business. So have fun with this stuff, and enjoy it. If there is nothing else, let's see. I will have to do a video and add into YouTube. This is all new to me. I will do a video of my listing. Yes, if you have any questions about this stuff too, there's a ton of classes in Sales Pro by both people on the marketing team as well as the education team, specifically for creative ways to video listings and present them on these channels. And then what you want to do, for example, I talk about like my example of a live open house. If you were advertising that on the discussion board, you always get, using Facebook Live as an example, you get a recording of that entire event back to you. And I always recommend agents, the first 15 minutes or so, 10 to 15 minutes of that tour or open house, whatever that event is, should very much be kind of a scripted walkthrough with community information, locale information, and home information, something that's relevant and vital to people that are in or interested in the area. And you can always remind people during that tour, a kind of what I call to action that you build in is to let people know, hey, this is a live event. I'm obviously hanging out, answering questions. I will have a condensed version of this made available to my sphere. I'll email that out in about 48 hours or less. And I will have it posted on all my social channels, my YouTube, my Instagram, my Facebook, in about a week. If you would like to have this readily available for you to view right away, please email me directly or go to my website and sign up to be a part of my mailing list. And now, you mentioned that at maybe every half-hour stop during the live event, and we've consistently built in something that drives not just people that are interested in the property, but people that are interested in you and what you provide to your website, where they can now be plugged into everything that you do. And I'm going to stop rambling and let everybody go. Have a great day. Everybody take care. I'll get that recap out to you in just a couple of hours, and I will see you all for part 2 on Wednesday.
Thank you.
Thanks so
You're
much.
welcome.
Excellent class.
You're welcome. Thank you. Stop the recording.